Unit 1, Stormwater 101, Lesson 1, the Natural and Urban Water Cycles. In this first lesson, we'll talk about the basics of runoff in natural and urban environments, the water balance and what we mean by that, and how disrupting the water balance impacts us. When rain falls from the sky or when snow melts, there are three basic pathways it can take. Infiltration, where water is filtered through soils and either returns to groundwater aquifers, known as deep infiltration, or it stays closer to the surface and slowly makes its way to rivers and streams, known as shallow infiltration. Evapotranspiration is when water is taken up by plants or ponds on the ground and it's eventually returned to the atmosphere. Or runoff, when water flows over hard surfaces into local water bodies. In most natural environments, only about 10% of rainfall becomes runoff. Most of the rain is returned to soils or the atmosphere through infiltration and evapotranspiration. About 50% of the rainfall is infiltrated. Shallow infiltration contributes space flow to streams in dry weather, and deep infiltration replenishes groundwater aquifers. But in urban environments, where most surfaces are hard, like buildings, roads, and sidewalks, when rain falls, most of it becomes runoff, about 55% or 5 times more than in a natural environment. Only about 15% of water infiltrates into the ground, or less than half than would have happened in an undeveloped landscape. This breakdown between infiltration, shallow and deep, evapotranspiration, and runoff is known as the water balance. What are the impacts when we disrupt the water balance through development? Less water infiltrates into groundwater aquifers, which is important for communities which use that water for drinking water or irrigation. Less shallow infiltration means lower base flow for streams in dry weather, impacting fish habitat. Increased runoff means more and faster water flowing in streams, which increases erosion. And more treated municipal water has to be used for irrigation because we're not capturing the rain when it falls. The most talked about impact from disrupting the water balance is flooding. Flood-related damages are the leading cause of insurance claims in Canada. The federal government estimates losses of $2.4 billion annually from floods going forward, both in insured and uninsured losses. Old stormwater management systems, increased runoff from development, property-level actions, and climate change all contribute to the increase in flood damages. So that was just a really brief overview of this topic. We've got some additional resources there for you to look at to learn a bit more. And in the next lesson, we'll talk about runoff pollution and some of its impacts.